food prices, they're always a hot topic with consumers. And particularly so if their household incomes are under stress. And just as Susan said, actually, there was so much government monies went in that there was a lot of money sloshing around during the worst part of COVID. Well, we may be in the worst part of COVID right now. But as that government money starts to dry up, gig economy people start to look for where are my hours coming from. They're saying, right, can I manage? Can I buy enough food for my household? And I mean, the intriguing thing about the US is, did Susan say 11% of household income goes on food? That's about the lowest in the known world, for goodness sake. So, you're sort of well placed. But of course, 11% doesn't hold for everybody. If you look at the spread, let's take it by quintile. The quintile one, say the richest, might spend 5% of the household income, whereas those who are in quintile 5 spent 38% of their income. And so they're extraordinarily sensitive. And as we know, COVID, one way or another, as we start to edge out of it, it sort of accentuated the gap between the haves and the have-nots. And again, as Susan said, actually the actual inflation rate for food, 21 over 20, if she said it was zip, I think it's about 2%, which is less than it was last year. In 2020 over 2019, it was about 3%. So it's not a lot, but as I said, everyone bitches about food prices. I mean, the gig economy workers bitching about it because they're concerned about feeding their families, whereas the middle class are worried about the price of seeded sourdough. So they'll say, my Lord, I've got to pay $3 for it. Well, of course, you don't have to buy it. That would be one answer. So, but the fact of the matter is we will see increases in food prices, and it's coming like a train. And you can see why we're interested in that, because food prices, it's visceral. It's the staff of life. After all, we need it. And if you think, why will food prices go up? We know that if you look at internationally, food commodity prices are 30% up year on year. And those prices are yet to be fed in to food retail prices, but that will be coming. And so again, back to why we're concerned about food prices, because people say, if it's going to be tough, what can I control in my expenditure? I don't have much say over my mortgage payment, over my utilities payment, over perhaps the electronic gear, which is also essential, the cost of that, over perhaps school fees, if you pay school fees. Not everybody does. But we think we've got some control over food prices, and we can either trade up or down depending on how much money we've got. Back to what Susan was saying, yes, actually we traded up during that initial period of COVID, but not everybody did. But if I looked at the figures for the US, something like 30% of consumers accounted for almost all the growth in food retail in the US, and they were busily trading up. They were having restaurant type meals at home, so that was a sort of subset, a smaller set. So we've got commodity prices increasing and coming, and then there are those additional costs associated with COVID. They could be extra cleaning costs, labor costs have gone up. Look at freight rates around the world. So imported food costs must go up. And you're going to see real pressure there. I'm sort of intrigued, because whenever you get pressure on food prices, then somebody has to be blamed. And normally, often as not, it's the fingers are pointed at food retailers, whether they should or not. Usually nothing to do with food retailers. And then in the end, there's political pressure for the government to do something about it. And it's around about that time you start to see commissions of inquiry into the food industry to spot the villain. But yes, I think we will become concerned about food price increases, because we will see them over the next 12 months.